Don't come home tonight. Your stuff is outside. 11:47 p.m. For a few seconds, I just stared at the screen, waiting for another message. Maybe a "just kidding," maybe a laughing emoji, something. Nothing came. It was just that one sentence, cold, final. And here is the crazy part. The house she was kicking me out of was actually in my name. That night, they didn't just try to throw out their child, they tried to throw out the person who legally owned their roof. I am 24 years old, the oldest of three. Growing up, my parents always had one golden rule. They loved to say, "You live under our roof, you live by our rules." As a kid, it sounded fair. As I got older, it turned into a weapon. If I disagreed with them, they said, "We can kick you out any time." If I wanted privacy, they said, "This is our house, nothing here is yours." The funny thing is, by the time they were still saying that, I was the one keeping that house from disappearing. After college, I got a remote job in tech. The pay wasn't insane, but for my age, it was very good. My parents were proud in public. At family gatherings, they bragged, "Our child works in tech, they're doing so well." But at home, nothing changed. I still had a curfew, I still had to ask before going out with friends. If I came home late, they waited at the door like I was 15, not 24, and every argument ended the same way. "Don't forget whose house this is. If you don't like it, you can leave." Except they were the ones who almost lost that house. About 2 years ago, my dad lost his job. At first, they acted like everything was fine. But one afternoon, I came home and saw an envelope on the table. It had the bank's logo on it. My mom quickly flipped it over, but I had already seen the word foreclosure. That night, after they went to bed, I took the letter to my room and read every line. They were 3 months behind on the mortgage. If nothing changed, the bank could take the house. A few days passed in awkward silence. No one mentioned the letter. Then my dad finally pulled me aside. He said, "We just need a little help. You have a job, good credit. Maybe the bank will listen to you." We ended up sitting in an office at the bank. The manager looked at my pay stubs, my credit report, my work contract. Then he looked at my parents and said, "Your child actually qualifies much better for this loan. We can refinance the mortgage in their name and list you as residents." My dad frowned and asked, "But the house is still ours, right?" The manager answered, "Legally, the borrower who signs the mortgage and holds the deed is the owner. And that borrower was me." My parents nodded like they understood. But the second we got home, nothing changed. They still said, "Our house, our rules." From that day on, every mortgage payment came out of my account. The insurance, the repairs, even the new appliances. My mom posted pictures of the renovated kitchen on Facebook and wrote, "So blessed, my husband renovated the kitchen for me." Meanwhile, my banking app told a different story. Then came that Friday night. I was out having dinner with friends. For once, I wasn't glued to my phone. When I finally checked it, I had 6 missed calls from my mom and one long text. "You don't respect our house, our rules, or us as parents. Your things are packed. Don't come home tonight. We're tired of your attitude. Good luck." I felt a wave of anger and something else. Relief. I didn't drive home. I went to a 24-hour cafe instead. I opened my laptop, pulled up my email, and downloaded the PDF copies of the mortgage and the deed. I saved them in multiple places, just in case. That night, I didn't cry. I planned. The next morning, around 10, I finally drove back to the house. 2 black trash bags sat on the front porch,
My clothes were stuffed inside, one hoodie hanging out of a half-open bag. My mom opened the door just enough to look at me. "Didn't you get my message?" she said. "You can stay with your friends if you love them so much." My dad stood behind her with his arms crossed. I took a slow breath. "Okay," I said. "If that's how you feel, I'll pack the rest of my things." I stepped forward to walk inside. She moved in front of me. "You don't just walk into our house anymore," she snapped. I pulled out my phone and opened the PDF from the bank. I zoomed in on the first line and held it out for her to see.
On the screen, it clearly said, borrower, my name. Owner of record, my name. My dad took the phone from her and read it twice. "What is this supposed to mean?" he asked. "It means," I said quietly, "when the bank almost took this place, you didn't save it. I did. The mortgage is in my name. The deed is in my name. I've been making every payment while you keep telling me this is your house." For the first time, they didn't have anything to say. Then I said the words I had kept inside for years. "You're right about one thing. If you don't like how I live, you don't have to live under my roof." My mom's face changed. "You wouldn't do that to your parents," she whispered. My hands were shaking, but my voice stayed steady. "You did it to your child last night," I said. From my bag, I pulled out a printed paper. It was a 30-day notice to vacate that I had typed and printed at the cafe. I placed it gently on the kitchen counter. "I'm not throwing you onto the street," I told them. "You have 30 days. In that time, you can decide whether you want to treat me like a disobedient teenager or respect me as the person who saved this house." My dad looked like he wanted to argue, but he stayed quiet. I picked up the black trash bags with my clothes and walked back to my car. As I reached the driveway, my phone buzzed again. It was another text from my mom. This one said, "Can you talk?" For the first time in my life, I didn't reply right away, because for the first time in my life, they were the ones afraid of not having a home.